Here we go, boys and girls. You guys ready to rock and roll?
We are. I am.
You heard the chime ring, which means... Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of SwingBadder, where we have our batter sports experts, everybody, from New York, Todd Lemieux, our New York Mets expert, and from Arizona, Peter Lemieux, the Arizona Diamondback expert. We're here to talk baseball and all things related to interesting contracts to interesting statistics. And to start us all off, I believe we finally have a baseball list. I know we never get enough baseball list out there, but we finally have a baseball list. Todd, what is the most alarming thing about our brand new baseball list we get to cover tonight?
You were talking about the one that I sent over, that MLB, the one MLB put out today.
MLB put it out, everybody, so you know it is concrete and gold. It's as beautiful as ever. The MLB most prolific lineups. This is the offensive lineup you as a pitcher do not want to face. And coming in number one right off the bat, let's see how much brain power MLB used to get number one.
Dad, I'll give you 4 guesses on this one, and the first 3 don't count.
Dad is doing his research as we go.
He's like, wait a second.
He's like Arizona's not all 10.
Who's the number one lineup in baseball this year?
Really a really hard question for everybody.
This is the part at dinner where my son asks me a question and then yells at me because I'm looking at my phone.
The sad part about this list is the same team would have the best pitching staff also.
Not true.
Nope. We're only one list at a time. Who do you got number one, Dad?
Do I disagree with the list or do I read the list?
Listen, does anybody not think the Dodgers are number one for lineups?
Somebody does, but they probably haven't read anything in 3 years.
Let's say Freddie Freeman's teeth fell out and he had insane dental work. They're still number one.
Yeah.
That's how good that lineup is.
I believe the people who got hurt last year, I believe Mookie Betts got hurt. I believe they lost their third baseman in spring training, and they still had a lethal lineup.
It's ridiculous.
So you could lose three guys, and they're still a top 3 lineup.
And we're going to go through this list that MLB put out there, and there's some teams on this list who have injuries already in spring training. Which is the worst.
Unheard of.
It's the worst.
I've never heard of such a thing. Injuries in spring training? Craziness.
Lies.
No, they all start fresh.
Yeah. All right, so the Dodgers are number one.
Numero uno.
Then they have my team, Viva Los Metitos, as number 2.
Do you agree with them being number 2? Let's start with that. Do you agree that the Mets are number 2 in baseball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would they not be? Who's ahead of them?
The Angels. Are the Angels on the list? Did the Angels? Did the Angels make? They have Mike Trout.
Stop it. Right? Okay, great. They've had Mike Trout for years. Does it
they're not a top 10? They're not drawing in the fans?
No, come on.
Sorry, everybody. Our experts have spoken. The Angels did not make it.
No, they didn't make it.
Todd, so you believe the Mets are firmly number 2 behind the Dodgers?
Think about this with the Mets, right? You've got Lindor, you've got Alonso, you've got Soto, you've got Vientos. So there's 4 guys who could feasibly hit 30 home runs this year. I mean, that's an easy bet to make. That's 120 home runs from your top 4.
Yeah, you're distant second. You're distant second to the Dodgers if that's what you're touting.
No, but I'm saying forget the Dodgers.
Dodgers have 4 guys that are going to hit 50 home runs.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I have 3 that could hit 50.
All right. Well, again, keep going. Number 2, the Mets. You believe?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit handicapped because of my my IQ isn't high enough. I had not got to look at the starting lineups here of these. How am I supposed to tell if the Phillies or Braves have more offense? I right now can't figure out. I know they both had good teams, but
Dad, it's easy. What's our rule? Don't trade with the Braves.
I
There's a
suppose
reason for that.
I
So,
sup-
like, anytime there's a list and you're tied between is it the Phillies or the Braves, it's the Braves.
so the other
It's the
rule
Braves.
is if you don't know what you're talking about, just make it up.
Whoa. Batter Sports. Don't let everybody in on our secrets.
What's the matter? What's the matter? The Red Sox.
These are string cheese.
Red Sox got Bregman.
They did get Bregman.
They did.
And but did they figure out? So the Red Sox are at number 5. So you have Braves at
Hold
3.
on. Trevor Story's back.
That's good. Is Trevor Story back?
Fully healthy. I don't have
That's always
listen,
the de facto in
Batter
this, right?
Sports doesn't have.
Are they fully healthy?
Batter Sports doesn't have a list. We're here to just say, thumbs up, we agree. Thumbs down, we think it's terrible. These are 10 teams that should finish in the top 10 in offense. It wouldn't shock me if a couple fell out. So which team of the top 10 do you think has the most likelihood of not finishing in the top 10 at the end of the season? Let's go through the list.
Okay, so the top 10. So the top 10, they have the Braves, the Phillies, the Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, New York Yankees, Arizona Diamondbacks, San Diego Padres, Texas Rangers. The easiest one for me is the Yankees, and it's not me being a Yankees hater. You've got the injury to Coles. Stanton's already complaining that his 2 elbows are made of fragile something, right? Um, you've got Goldschmidt, who's on a 1-year deal and
So
great on offense, but he's also 97 years old.
So that the one team that you picked is the Yankees, so we can't pick the Yankees, Dad. So which one team on that list do you have not possibly being a top 10?
Oh, wait, you can't pick them because I picked them?
Yeah, we have to pick 3 teams. We each get one.
That's so rude.
You pick the Yankees.
All right.
You got first pick. Well, let the experts pick because if I'm wrong, no one's going to make fun of the host. You guys are the experts. Dad, if you put the Diamondbacks out of the top 10, that looks terrible.
No, I'm not going to move Diamondbacks.
There we go. I like it. The Diamondbacks and Mets are confident because our insiders say so.
That's right.
Who do you got?
Because it's God's
Who's
will.
out?
I don't know. Let me just be obnoxious and pick the Padres.
They're number 9.
I know. So they dropped 2 spots.
So you're going to drop them 2 spots?
2 spots. Big jump.
Gone. Absolutely gone.
You don't think Fernando Tatis is going 50 home runs this year?
He's one guy. You named 3 guys and tell me you got the second best offense.
This is so easy that you guys did not
baseball.
pick. You didn't pick the easiest one. They're fluky.
What, the
They're
team,
fun.
with the team that was number 10?
Baltimore Orioles. It's been real. See ya. There's no way they're a top 10 offense. They're going to make no way. No way. Bye, Baltimore. Spend more money. Pick up some more veterans. You don't have a good pitching staff. Your offense will not be top 10 this year.
You cannot pick against a team that has the color orange. This is a rule I have.
The second team I have is the Mets. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so I got the Orioles. Dad, you picked the Padres, and Todd, you picked the Yankees. I like your 2 picks because you picked on teams in your area that you hate. NL West team for Dad against the Diamondbacks. You picked the Yankees. They're in the home of the Mets. I just picked on the low-level Baltimore team because they got nothing going for them, and why not?
So mean.
Yeah. That's what we have. That's your top 10 list. We're gonna be evaluating. I mean, MLB really puts it out there. The Dodgers. Seriously, what was that? Like, how drunk was this list maker here?
What are you just going to remove them from any list? You have to acknowledge that.
Now,
it's not really MLB. It's this Anthony Castrovinci here from Long Island. Tony Castrovinci.
That's why the Yankees made it.
Is that who wrote it?
So, no wonder Mets are number 2.
Yeah, well, there you go. So last episode, me and Dad talked a little bit about the budgets and the payrolls and the minimums, the maximums. It sounds like, Todd, you wanted to weigh in a little bit on that. So right now it appears the Mets said, we don't care. We don't care. We're going to spend whatever we want to spend. We don't care about the luxury tax at all.
No.
They're going to pay it. They're not worried about it. The Dodgers have decided to invest in the future of Japan and their investments in baseball because they're figuring in 5 to 10 years they're going to be worth an astronomical amount. So they'll be just fine with paying the payroll tax on players that aren't even playing. So what's your take on the Mets and their owner just saying it doesn't matter?
I got a question about that, Todd, before you give us your wisdom. If that's true, why aren't they trying to get another starter or two? They've lost starters, and I don't think they've done the greatest job filling that. Why aren't they out there buying a starter?
When you say they, you mean the Mets?
Cohen.
Yeah. The Mets are interesting when it comes to pitching. It's like they don't want to overextend on pitching. Um, I mean, they've got two big injuries on pitching right now. Um, but what struck me when I sent this like Instagram post was that Steve Cohen spent more in 4 years than three teams have in 21 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Those three teams are,
Can we
you know them
guess?
and you love them. Go for it.
I'll take the easiest one of the hosts, Oakland / Sacramento.
No.
Miami.
Miami's one, not Oakland, Sacramento.
Just because they moved to Sacramento, they don't count? They haven't
No,
been around 4 years?
They have spent more than the $1.36 billion the Mets have spent in 4 years.
Oh, they have.
Did someone get the math right? You're saying the A's have spent more than that?
In 21 seasons.
How about Tampa?
Tampa's number two.
Hey, Florida. Nobody spends money in Florida.
That's where they go to. They're hoarding their retirement funds. They don't have it to spend.
Exactly.
I'd like to go to bad teams, but we got one in Colorado that actually spends money and is still bad.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams did you say? You said three?
Three teams.
Kansas City?
Nope. Three teams in 21 seasons.
Is it the Pirates?
It is the Pirates.
Dad hits every single one.
This is why Dad is at the table, because when you need someone to drop wisdom from the top rope, here he comes with the hammer.
And he even called out the Rockies for spending more money than they should.
This is breaking my heart. The Pirates. That's just the ghost of Jacob Marley needs to come back. Are we talking about Roberto Clemente, Willie Stargell, Pirates?
Yeah.
What's happened?
That stadium is so boss too. That's probably the worst ownership group in baseball. And they're talking about now, people are saying they're trying to request that Major League Baseball force the Rays to sell.
The devil
Rays.
The Tampa.
The Rays.
I did see that.
Who at the beginning, I think, of last year were setting baseball on fire.
So just so everyone knows, I've done a deep dive research on how to get ownership out of leagues. I did this with the Jets recently with AI. I just went in and I asked them how do you get a team how do you get a team disband? Like, how do you just remove them from the league? And I was referencing the Jets because they seem to want to leave the league, but they have not.
I totally endorse this.
But they said it's very impossible to have a team leave. Ownership, however, what they need to do is they need to use AI to create a video of the owner saying racist things, and that's how you get them out. If you follow what the NBA did, you don't even need to have a reel. It could be a fake video. By the time the outrage has reached a 12, he has to sell, it's a win for everyone. The guy who made the fake video gets paid a lot of money because now the owner has to get paid. So he says racist thing, but you still have to pay him all the money to get rid of the team. It's not like he loses that. So the Rays would be sold. Then do you just sell them to the Miami? Just have Miami own both teams?
No, not in Miami.
Have the group of players own the.
I still think our plot to buy the Pittsburgh Pirates. needs to be put into effect.
We need to do what that NHL guy did, who did it all on fake money. Remember, he almost bought an NHL team until someone finally did like a credit. They did one of those credit scans on him, and they realized they did a whole entire series on him. I believe he tried to buy the Islanders. It was great. I can't.
No, it was probably like the Winnipeg Jets or something.
No, I think it was one of those. It was the Devils, the Islanders. I can't remember. They did a whole series on it, but anyways, he had no money. And they kept asking for down payments, and he was like, wrote an IOU like Dumb and Dumber. He just wrote like, IOU, here's $500 million. I'm coming up with it. Oh, the bank couldn't get me the wire fast enough. Oh, I hate when that happens. Man, I'm going to get you that $250 million. And they kept this thing going on, and then they finally realized that my favorite part about the whole entire thing is when they talked to like the commissioner. Like, how come you didn't know? He goes, we really did our due diligence. It's like, no, you didn't. Yeah. Nobody did anything.
The guy lives in his parents' basement.
Ended up having to serve time in prison for it. It was great. It was what a great. It was so close. He said there was one down payment that he couldn't get. He's like, I was that close to owning the team. To this day, he's like, I was this close to pulling it off.
Well, isn't that the secret to wealth? Use other people's money.
I've read a couple books. About that. And I endorse that.
I mean, some of these athletes have more money than they've ever imagined. Maybe we can get them to invest in us while we buy the Pirates.
I don't know. Then we would have to like talk nice about them. Like we would suddenly be like Colorado Rockies fans. Imagine the Rockies.
I think the investment in us as owners is the fact that we have no cap.
Well, the thing is, they wouldn't know us. Because we would go by our corporate name.
Ooh, I like it.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Shell companies. Right, yeah, there we go. That's pretty, now we're getting Muppet level smart.
So
speaking of shell companies, the Dodgers luxury tax in 2024 was $103 million.
Yep.
What's it going to be in 2029 or whenever Ohtani's deal actually starts getting paid?
I don't even know what the rules are. I think they're relying so heavily on a strike because the CBA is up. They're relying on a strike to just wipe out all contracts.
Okay, now you're talking strike. You're talking my language. As a host, I have to call. I had to call something out here. You triggered something that I'm going to take from we were going to talk about this later, but I got to bring it up now. So as a host, I kind of relate with this group. The umpire union and the umpires themselves are ruining the game of baseball in ways that I can't. I watched Angel Hernandez highlights because I know he's not doing it anymore. The amount of terrible calls that these guys have, and then the fact that we are not going to the system that calls balls and strikes. I don't know if you saw recently Blake Snell of the Dodgers challenged a call, and it was like a millimeter. It hit the strike zone by a millimeter, which I loved because it was a strike and not a ball, and the guy had to go back up to the plate. If you just did computer umps, you wouldn't have to worry about the guy behind the plate. You could just go to the Naked Gun Ensemble, which we can play for you, where all you have to do is be dramatic and just call what the computer says. That's a strike.
Right.
That's a ball. Nobody cares. The umpire union is going to fight this computer thing for as long as possible. So we got to put up with like Dave Roberts and the freaking Yankee Aaron. What's his name? Aaron Boone is going to get yelled at again because he's going to say that call's ridiculous. These guys have...
That's fun.
Hold on. These guys have all the technology now. They literally know the very second he missed the call that he missed it. And they can say, it was outside. It was inside. You're wrong. What are we doing? Just freaking use the technology. It's right there. What? Why?
Dude, did you see Joey Gallo challenged a call? I think it was today or yesterday. So Joey Gallo challenged a call. Ball comes in. They call it a strike. He's immediately like on the head.
Yes, I love that. I love how you challenge it doing this. That's the best part.
Right. They show the replay. The ball is about 6 inches inside the strike zone. Like it's not even close to being a ball.
The best part about the challenges that I love about this is you're gonna see which guy like knows the strike zone the best and which guy doesn't. Because at the end of the day, like you would have like Barry Bonds, I guarantee would be right on.
Yeah,
Greg Maddux. Oh my God. Can you imagine Greg
would
Maddux
be
he
incredible.
would get everything right. Randy Johnson, I don't think he would be able to get anything right because he doesn't even know half the time how fast or where that pitch was going. So I think
Juan Soto is never striking out again.
I'm glad you just. So before I go to my Juan Soto, you just keep edging, you keep bringing me in. So, Dad, what's your take on umpires? Should they be going? Should they do this now? Should we just get rid of this whole umpire power?
You know, you modern guys, I like yelling at the umps. I like never losing a game because it was the ump's fault. You know, victims like to blame somebody for their failures. So we blame umpires. Now we're going to have computers that are always, those other things. If you get rid of the home plate umpire, who's cleaning the plate?
No.
Okay?
He's still there. He's cleaning the plate. He's calling them out or safe when they slide into home. You just don't have to have him call balls. He just has to be there to say strike ball. And then you don't have to worry about, the inside. I'm getting the inside pitch today. Dad, it's okay.
That's just so
we are like
soulless.
2 years away from replacing Dad with a computer. So this is great. Like everything's going to be replaced with a computer. AI is going to be like, here's Dad, and it will be totally not Dad, and everyone will be like,
is AI? I'm sure it can do it, but I don't think it does yet. Have a sense of humor. I mean, can they make you laugh?
It depends on who you are and what the setting is. But yes, I would say Grok does a pretty good job of it.
Oh, God. Are you in the what is it, the inhuman mode, or what's the one that's
inappropriate
argumentative
mode?
or something?
Isn't AI just speed? Because I can ask the same question on Google and I'll get answers.
Right.
You're correct. But Google's, again, people are now going to AI because it searches everything Google does and it gives you the answer rather than you have to go into page 2 and 3 to get out of their ads.
That's true. You do have to pick
the one thing you don't have to worry about batter sports. You don't have to worry about that at all. So you're for the umps, Todd. You're probably for computers, or you want to keep them as well.
I think a blend of it's healthy.
Okay, we're gonna stick it in the blender, blend it up. I have to do my one.
No, this is why. I think that there is a way to do this where you have a computer ump that will go with the gradual biases of the home plate umpire
Oh dear God.
to give him like some consistency. So if he's
Sure,
got a wide strike zone on that day,
you're humanizing the ump.
Greg Maddux does not have a career if umpires are not giving him a wider strike zone.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I don't know about
He
that.
admits it. Maddox admits that. He talks about the fact that he would expand the strike zone slowly over the course of the game.
Right.
Like,
He did a lot of other
don't
things that
he-
other people
Yeah,
never
and
thought
that's
of.
why the playoffs he always got pinched, and that wasn't fair
I
either.
want a computer to assess flopping fouls in basketball and soccer.
There you go.
That is so absurd with those. I just saw the latest one that's all over the internet with LeBron James not even getting hit. The guy's 6'10", 260, no fat on his body, and he gets knocked out cold by the air.
Right.
It airs undefeated, very dense.
When we and on the flip side, when we went talking about old players, when we went to Pittsburgh and we saw the Capitals play the Penguins, I saw a Penguins player go up and try to check Ovechkin. He bounced off Ovechkin and landed on the ice, and Ovechkin like turned and looked at him and just shook his head and kept skating.
He is a man. Bringing us.
Do you guys read the same things I do? Like, did you read the story about Greg Maddux? There were a couple men on, first base was open. They sent out the pitching coach to tell him to walk the batter, and Maddux says, "No, I'm going to waste 2 pitches on him, and he's going to pop out to third on the third pitch." And that's exactly what happened. He even knew where the guy was going to hit it.
It was Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Greg Maddux said because Bobby Cox sent out Mazzone out to talk to Maddux, and he said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to go walk him." And Chipper Jones was like, "I'll be darned if Maddux didn't say I'm going to get him to pop out to Chipper." And
Then the other one
pops out to Larry.
the other one I read is how he gave up a home run to Bagwell in a game he was ahead 8-0. And the catcher said, "What's going on?" He said, "I'm setting him up for the playoffs," which was 2 months away.
Yep.
And wouldn't you know, in the playoffs, he strikes him out, and he said he was looking for that pitch that hit a home run off me.
Right.
2 months ahead, he was thinking.
Listen, everybody else is playing
How much
table chess,
How much money did he win on
checkers.
from his teammates in poker in the locker room? If he's able to play that long, he's like, oh, I thought I had the straight. And a month later,
I feel bad that he pitched for a team I didn't like because he was so amazing. I just reminded that he once pitched a 78-pitch shutout.
Yeah.
2
I heard he
hours.
was a disgusting human being.
Really? He did.
Like he would wipe his butt with somebody's socks and then put him in the clean socks area. And just, the guy would go put his socks on and he'd have a skid mark going right up the side of his leg.
This is why everybody in baseball, the shenanigans in baseball will top everything else because there's so many games and there is so much downtime.
There's so
And
much
if you have a
free
pitcher,
time.
again, if you're pitching every fifth game, which means you pitch every 6th day, 7th day, you have a lot of days to hang out with the team to think of things to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
So
yeah.
things going to Juan Soto, who I agree, if he were to challenge a call, if he was challenging a call, I would agree with Juan Soto. I believe he has a very sharp eye. I don't know if you saw this recently, but in spring training, he was getting heckled. He was getting heckled that he was overrated and overpaid. He turned around and looked at this fan.
By someone who surely in his own life
is
overrated
overrated.
right field,
By the way,
is completely and totally market adjusted in his own salary and station in life, and in no way is he overrated.
no. In fact, I think I like this chant because you should take it and use it for other people that you think he should be the guy who's like, you're overrated, and then something wonderful happens. So Juan Soto hit a home run, and it went right to him, and of course he missed the ball. It went over him. You can't even make this up. Literally, he was just heckling him. Juan Soto turned around and looked at him. Then Juan Soto hits a home run, and the guy reaches up to catch it, and it goes right over his head. Like he just missed it like you would.
So good.
And everything about this is so perfect on so many levels because he was not doing like a fun heckle. It was like, I'm going to get into him. And then he just hits a home run and does his usual like wave to the outfield, whatever he does. But I was like, that's perfect. That's so like if there's one thing that Todd gets to enjoy this year is Juan Soto looks very healthy. He looks very fit. He looks ready to rock and roll. And doing those things.
Don't curse it. Don't talk about it.
Doing those things in spring training should only make you feel better about what is about to transpire for the New York Mets.
Can I return to the scene of the crime?
Yeah.
The Mets have 2 starters injured, but they also lost Quintana and Manet. Who was the other guy?
Manaea is injured.
No, but there was another guy that left beside Quintana on their starters.
The one who went to the A's.
Yes. I'm trying to remember who that was.
He was I bring up Juan Soto and you're still talking about how the Mets don't have any pitching?
But that's 4 pitchers, starters, and the Yankees are crying because of their pitching. Get the word out in New York. We have in Arizona 7 starters, 7 major league starters. Make us an offer. Okay?
But this is going to require we give up people.
Well, yeah.
No cash.
Yeah, we're not giving them away.
No, Dad, this trade is really easy. Just
Severino, that's who you're talking about. You're talking about Severino.
Call the Arizona Diamondbacks and just tell them to trade a player for cash. Say, I want you to pay $25 million to our payroll this year, and then $20 million next year, and then $15 the third year. Start making these kind of deals. The Mets would do it. Forget players. I don't want your players. Just give us cash. Put soda in the soda machine.
They'd get cash if they traded Montgomery. They owe him $22 million this year.
We could have
He's not in the top 5 of the.
We could have a Mets day in Arizona Diamondbacks at the ballpark and say free hot dogs for every fan who comes to the game, courtesy the Mets. It's a great trade. Everyone's happy. We get fans in the seats. The Mets get a pitcher, and I just brokered the deal of the year.
There's not a lot of pitchers out there in the free agency world.
We have 7 starters in Arizona.
Cash money. So those are my two. Those are the two topics I want to try: the umpires and then the Juan Soto story, which is fantastic. I'm very delighted to see all of that fun stuff. So moving on to more agendas. Todd, you had more.
Yo, not Guy Eddie on Twitter is the chef's kiss.
Follow him.
He's the chef's kiss of baseball follows.
Just call it X
And
from
he
now. Let's call it X. It's X now.
On X.
Yep.
It just seems weird.
Nope.
X.
It's awesome.
Like, I don't know what I'm referring to.
Elon's child.
He loves going on about how WAR is a stupid stat. It's a really stupid stat. And he posted this thing where he talks about how if you look at Andrew Jones, who's languishing, I think, in Hall of Fame voting like hell. Like nobody's voting for him, right?
Right.
And what's the knock on Andrew Jones?
He's not Kenny Lofton, who also didn't make the Hall of Fame for no reason whatsoever.
Right. Okay. So Kenny Lofton. Okay. So
We have
Andrew
a whole
Jones is
list.
not Kenny Lofton. Right.
No, I'm just saying we have a whole list of players that should be in the Hall of Fame, but for some reason the sports writers have decided that they know better.
Yeah. So Andrew Jones, and he compared him to Mike Trout, who everyone resoundingly says is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
The best outfielder.
No questions asked.
They play similar positions. The same position.
Center field.
Yeah, same position.
They play center field. Between ages 19 and 30, Trout has a WAR of 82.3. Andrew Jones has a WAR of 61. Who played more games?
This is pre-Mitten, everybody.
Andrew Jones. People say,
what's the numbers again? You said
stuff.
61 to 80 what?
61 to 82.3. So Mike Trout
20 higher, basically, on WAR, which is a big deal. That's a lot for a center fielder.
Right. Between the ages of 19 and 30.
Which is where we are.
So Andrew Jones has played 354 more games.
So he's healthier. This is pre-Mitten, everybody. So before they put mittens on to slide, and Andrew Jones stole bases, I recall.
As a result, he's got over 1,000 more plate appearances. He's got 140 more hits. He's got 18 more home runs, and he's got 221 more RBIs at age 30.
What that guy did, as all smart guys who play with statistics, he left out a very important statistics. Career batting average, Trout 299, Jones 254.
That's career.
Yeah.
But what was Andrew Jones 19 through 30?
Well, it couldn't have been 290 and drop at 40 points.
So what that matters now all of a sudden?
I mean, no one's batting 250 today.
No, what I'm saying is he couldn't have been anywhere close to 299 at age 30.
While you guys talk, let me settle this.
No.
Settle it?
You guys continue talking. You don't like him. You think the comparison is flawed.
I think Andrew Jones is a wonderful human being.
I think Andrew Jones was one of the best center fielders of all time.
His son is in the Diamondback system.
Whenever the Mets played him, you could not hit to center field and expect it all to get a hit, ever. Like there was a whole zip code out there where there was nothing dropping, ever. You know? So, but Andrew Jones had playoff wins.
Well, poor Trout hasn't had a chance to have any of those.
He's been in the playoffs.
Once? What do you have, 3 games?
He had 3 games, you're correct.
You know? So it's like it, it's kind of crazy, that
Well,
it's like you take this thing and you kind of ramp it out, and like all of a sudden, like, wow, these guys, this is comparable, but all of a sudden, like everybody's blowing out Andrew Jones. Like, oh no, he's not going to get in the Hall of Fame because like he fell off after the age of 30, as if Mike Trout hasn't missed like two full seasons.
yeah, what's interesting about this is his 30, so up to 30, right? Not to 31, just 19 to 30.
19 to 30.
Okay, so 31 is the drop off for Andrew Jones. The real drop off is where he clearly didn't play as many games. He
Okay.
literally played the least amount of games that time period was 153 in a season.
That's
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
that was his when he was 20, because when he was 19 he played 31 games, but once he was 20 it was 153 and then higher, 154 three times. His batting average, worst batting average in that time frame, was his 30th birthday at 222. His highest 303, 275, 271. He was right in the 270, 260 range throughout that period. He did have 1 year with 51 home runs and 128 RBIs. That was in 2005. Not an all-star, but obviously we all know what's happening in 2005. So when you look at the comparison, and again, great post. I totally understand it. He wasn't as injured as much as Mike Trout, but at 31, he takes a dive, going down to like 158 on batting average, 200, barely getting above that, which is why you're looking at the Hall of Fame. So the Hall of Fame is based, in my opinion, on longevity, which I think they put a lot of weight on. They want you to play a minimum of about 15 years, 12 to 15 years, which they and consistently. I think, like, first off, Dad, your show on Kenny Lofton was great. There's absolutely no reason he should not be in it. Andrew Jones
By the way, Kenny Lofton has a higher WAR than Ichiro.
yeah.
Just, I mean,
Which only
but
makes,
the other
makes
thing about Kenny
non-Gaetti's
Lofton
point.
is he made the playoffs all the time. His first 10 years in the MLB, I mean, the amount of times he made the playoffs, he's on a playoff contender every year, and he's performing every year. And he was, again, great defender, one of the elite defenders in Major League Baseball at the time. The comparison's great, but I look at Mike Trout and I say, Mike Trout's got to give you 8 more years, especially with the payroll that they're giving him. So we'll see what happens. I don't think Mike Trout's going
Andrew
to crater.
Jones was not just defensive. He led
No,
baseball with
Andrew,
51 home runs in
Yeah,
2005.
I think he also stole bases.
Yes, he did.
He was. There were years they were comparing him to Willie Mays. What
He had 300
happened?
total bases 5 times.
What happened?
I mean,
Was he injured? I mean, that's a severe drop off for a 31-year-old.
after 31, the most games he played after the age of 31 was 107.
He must have been hurt.
Yep.
Yeah,
Series
so-
of injuries, which happens to center fielders who are making great plays in the outfield.
434 home runs.
Yeah.
And what did he finish with, Todd?
He had 434 home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his career, but the last 5 years, I don't even think he barely sniffed almost 80. So again,
10 gold gloves. He had 10 gold gloves.
I don't know what we're arguing about.
So what's the point, Todd? He was a good player for 10 years?
Yes.
He's
He's a great player.
So the argument that not Gaetti's making is Ozzie Smith deserving of the Hall of Fame?
Okay, wait a minute. You just
Who's
went from
Ozzie?
This is a setup.
You mean-
Is Ozzie Smith deserving of the Hall of Fame? Everybody nods yes. Everybody yes, because he backflipped and whatever, and Ozzie Smith is deserving of the Hall of Fame. Was he in the Hall of Fame because of his offense?
No.
Not even close. Okay.
They're again, I think the Hall of Fame is poor. They do a poor job of this. Period. End of story.
Right.
I mean, his 10-year run is fantastic. There's no other way to put it. It's fantastic. WAR is terrible. I agree with that. I think it's manipulated data. If you look at the Trout versus Andrew Jones, there's no reason Andrew Jones shouldn't be higher than Trout on WAR. based on those 10 years because of the games played, how it was done. But he's 20 points below Trout because it's based on the games you played, so they don't count it against you if you don't play the games. Do you follow what I'm saying? So if you miss games, you don't get a negative.
But here's the point of this, right? All the stats we're comparing, I want you to process this. We're comparing offensive stats to Mike Trout. When anybody says, who's the greatest player of the last 10 years? I'm Mike Trout. Mike Trout. We're comparing Andrew Jones offensively during the same period of his career to Mike Trout. And Andrew Jones is widely considered a defensive player.
Correct.
And this guy is languishing in Hall of Fame ballot hell. And or purgatory, whatever you want to call it. Like, what are we doing?
I think we need
and I am a Mets fan advocating for this guy to be in the Hall of Fame.
Because he murdered you. He murdered you.
And it takes nothing away from Mike Trout to say that.
It takes nothing. I don't understand why that. So MLB has this idea that they have this pristine club, and if they let certain people in, it's not going to be pristine anymore. And it's
the second all time.
It's so silly.
And runs for a zone.
There's so many, and the voting, the way the voting's done, like if you don't get a certain amount of votes, you get off the ballot. And then how are they not letting the players bring in other players, especially when you look at who were the players that people feared in the era they played against each other in? I trust players. I would be okay with a manager vote, retired managers voting for players. They know, they saw these guys all the time.
Yeah.
You don't think Andrew Jones would have made the Hall of Fame if you let the managers? Like, what would Bobby V say?
Here's the problem.
Well, Bobby Valentine would be like, I hate that guy he's in.
He wouldn't say, I hate him, he's out.
You're evaluating a career.
Yes.
Not the best years of your career. Because if you just did best years, the Hall of Fame could have an extra 300 people tomorrow.
But it's not like 5 years. Jeez, 12 years.
Yeah, but when you end your career batting under 200, and you can't get anything going, and you're not even 35 yet, that is a huge blemish on the resume. Okay? He's a great player. A lot of great players not in the Hall of Fame. Okay? I would put him in that category. A great player, not Hall of Fame worthy. I didn't think...
Where did he end his career batting?
I didn't think Scott Rowland belonged in the Hall of Fame. He's a good player his whole career. But I just didn't think he was Hall of Fame quality. And the same thing with Andrew Jones. Great player for a while. I'm going to tell you, we got a lot of great players for a while, but they're not in the Hall of Fame.
He's a 254 out.
Okay, so I think Andrew Jones is better than Rowland. I think he was better than Jim Rice. I think
Todd, I got to tell you, for you to bat 254 and get in the Hall of Fame, you got to be, Ozzie Smith type of.
He was
game changing.
He was defensively. He was
for a while. For
over 10 years.
Well, over 10 years. I'm telling you, is that the measurement now? You only have to play 10 years? I don't think they even look at...
But he didn't only play 10 years, and he didn't just only... This is the point. He didn't only play 10 years, and he didn't only play defense. Like, the guy was...
Dad's point is very valid in the fact that he only did play a good 10 years because his last 5 were not good, and he couldn't get on the field. That's what he's talking about. But again, what Dad is also articulating very well is MLB hurt themselves when they add people like Scott Rowland. Nothing for nothing. I don't know what to tell you. But if you're going to add Scott, I have a tough time with other people. And the other thing I have a tough time with, how do you not have Kenny Lofton in? How is that not even possible? So there are people that make no sense who are not in, and then there are people who are like, this period of their career, they were great. Injuries hurt them, absolutely. But for those 10 years, they were great. Ozzie Smith played till he was 41. He had longevity. That's Major League Baseball loves
should he have?
The Hall of Fame's subjective. It's what people's opinions are. You got a guy out there, you got Hall of Famers who aren't in the Hall of Fame because they cheated. You got Bonds and Clemens and There's a bevy of those guys who really, Pete Rose, they actually, by statistics, should be in the Hall of Fame. So should Shoeless Joe Jackson. So it's kind of a whole subjective thing anyway. And so that there's always people who I think belong in there. Or, hey, Curt Schilling, if you just look at him on a piece of paper, why isn't Curt Schilling in the Hall of Fame? Because people don't like his personality. They don't like his politics.
Yeah.
And he's really a jerk, okay? But it's based on what you did between the white lines. And Curt Schilling, when you look at his playoffs and his regular seasons, the guy's a Hall of Famer. But he wasn't even close.
That doesn't make sense either. I mean, he pitched till he was 40. What he did with Arizona and Boston.
It's true. I mean,
again,
people don't like him, and maybe he's not a likable guy.
But that's the part.
I know when he was in Arizona, the joke was his nickname was Table for One because no one would eat with him.
But that's right. The other part, though. Like Barry Bonds wasn't like that. He didn't care. I get that. There are people that just, again, it's not a popularity contest. We're out of high school. We're out of junior high. Did the guy perform? Like, if nothing for nothing, I'm a Diamondback guy, so I know what Curt Schilling meant to the Diamondbacks. If I'm in the playoffs and I need somebody, I want Kenny Lofton on my team. I want Curt Schilling pitching. And you know what? Andrew Jones, I want you in center field. This is what I want. And again, when you compare him, you're like, that guy was lethal. And you can go through the list. I'll tell you who, again.
Here's why I'm uncomfortable with Andrew Jones. You got one center fielder where you want Lofton or Jones.
They're different positions. Lofton's your leadoff. Jones would have been.
They're both center fielders. They're both center fielders. And talking about career, I'm taking Lofton.
I would agree with you, but again, there's room for more in the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
And for
Scott Rowland proved that.
Do I have to throw one of them off the boat? Like, is it a lifeboat with just?
I understand Dad's point. You want somebody in the World Series. I made the one game thing. I get it.
Is it possible that both Andrew Jones and Kenny Lofton deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
I'm sorry. I'm just going to be a disagreeer. I don't think Andrew Jones belongs in the Hall of Fame. I think he was a great player. He's a wonderful player. Is Dick Allen in the Hall of Fame? I should know this.
For announcing?
No, the Phillies. They called him Richie Allen when he played. The guy hit the ball forever. I mean, he's a third baseman. Too old for you guys, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. We need some research done.
Unless it was Mike Schmidt or later, I don't know.
Played until 1977.
Well,
yeah, that's when Mike Schmidt took over.
So who's home runs, RBIs, lifetime, or batting average for Allen? You see that,
Brother? 351, 292.
Dear Lord. I mean,
he actually may be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. So.
But this is, like, now I'm even, like, this is even more of an argument for Andrew Jones. I don't know
what we need to do as the host here, we need to table the Hall of Fame.
You want to get Dick Allen's batting average the last 3 years of his career were 233, 268, and 240.
This post has driven the show into a tree of the Hall of Fame debate that we can have for ages.
Yeah, that never ends.
Never will end.
This is great.
We all don't like it. Nobody's happy. Everyone gets angry. No one gets in with all the votes. That's the other thing. Can't have a unanimous guy get in the Hall of Fame. That's terrible. What was it? Ichiro got one person didn't vote for him.
Well, that guy should have been removed from humanity.
So again, it's like
same with Willie Mays. Willie Mays didn't go in.
It makes no sense.
Who voted against Willie Mays?
Yeah, seriously, go to your grave. That should be on your gravestone. I voted against Willie. I voted against Ichiro. Thank you, sports writer who's bitter and didn't make much of. You're so happy you get a vote.
Like how miserable are you in your life? that you're sitting there feeding your 14 cats and thinking to yourself, I'm the guy who voted against Ichiro. Take that,
Or does he
Hall of
have
Fame people.
does he have somebody who fills it out and they go, well, what do you think? I don't know anything about baseball. It's a no on everybody the first time.
Right.
I don't care
Right.
what they did. It's a no. I don't evaluate them until the second vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez. If baseball were a religion, nobody would be a saint. Because the Cardinals and the popes of Major League Baseball would have something against how you ran home after a home run one time. Or now, God forbid, these guys flip bats now. Don't tell the voters of the Hall of Fame that. Nobody's getting in. I will tell you one thing. I would really appreciate it if Tatis this year would just get a different home run Trout. The whole stop, check out third base for a minute, and then continue. Can we stop that? Can you just run? I don't need Matt Williams. I don't want the Matt Williams, I'm angry and I ate too much salary today. But I do want someone to stop the reverse walking while you hit a home run.
We got to start beaning people again.
No.
Make beaning great
Did you
again.
see what some of these pitchers are doing? Celebrating their
No.
strikeouts?
I did see that.
So what you will see now is bat flips, people doing splits on the mound, and we are now in dance routine. 3, 2, 1, dance. And everyone's going to dance after they do something great on baseball. And the best part about it is your children, all of the young kids will be imitating this. I can't wait for a pitcher to hurt his knee celebrating, a batter to hurt themselves because they threw the bat off their neck or off of the bat boy or whatever. It's inevitable. Again, act like you're supposed to
Edwin
do it.
Diaz has something to say about that. I watched the Bachelor Women Tell All last night, and this
Oh my
reminds me,
god.
is that basically baseball now? I struck you out, women tell all. Let me get emotional on the microphone and then talk to,
That would be a great.
you know,
By the way, that you just made a great visual of like a cartoon series where the reporter runs out there to the mound after he does the strikeout. How do you feel about the strikeout? Like, you know how they interview the managers during the inning?
that's exactly
I got to
what I
get
was
right to
thinking
this
about.
guy. You just struck out this 220 hitter.
Right.
You struck out Joey Gallo. How do you feel? Well, I mean, geez,
Thanks.
I'm just one of 400 this year. Feels not less special.
Thanks, Jesse Palmer.
So, like, if Tony Gwynn struck out and you celebrated, I understand it. I
Right.
get it.
Or you drew a walk off Greg Maddux.
Yes, those things you should celebrate. Striking out Joey Gallo and being like, yeah.
It's the way sports is played today. I mean, a guy celebrates a tackle on a 2nd and 10, and
Team down by 36.
Yeah, his team's down by 30. It's just like, are these guys celebrate because they have a dunk? Is it hard to make a dunk? I mean, is that a hard shot to make? I don't see many people missing it.
Well, may I introduce you to
Not for them, it isn't.
last thing I wanted to share with you, right? So old time hardball on X, which is OLE time hardball, shared this stat about the Detroit Tigers 1984. I read this, I couldn't believe this. 1984 Detroit Tigers. No one scored or drove in 100 runs.
I read that. You sent it to me. That's an unbelievable statistic. Keep going.
It gets better. No one reached 175 hits. No one won 20 games, and no pitcher recorded 150 strikeouts. They won 104 games and went 7-1 in the postseason. So,
That's the way
so
to play the game. That's a team.
can I bring this back to the Dodgers and their number one lineup, and dare I say the Mets and their pitching staff? Um, you don't need superstars to win this thing. You do not need superstars to win this thing. You need a team.
Can you go back to that? Can you back that bus up? Repeat this again for the kids in the back of the school.
Okay, so everybody knows there's a team in Detroit.
The Detroit Tigers, fantastic team.
They're called the Detroit Tigers. In 1984, right? So I'm going to go to baseball
Shortened
references,
season.
right?
Was it a shortened season? Did they play 80 games? Can you give me some?
No.
Was there something
There's a
going
full
on?
season.
There was 162 games.
This is making no sense now. They had
So
zero players score 100 runs.
that no one scored or drove in
And they
100 runs.
won. They weren't like they
Eh,
weren't like 40 and 120.
They won 104 games
This is crazy.
and went 7-1 in the postseason.
Even more crazy.
And that's and then no pitcher recorded 150 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean, like nowadays with the platooning and all that stuff, I get that.
That
So
is crazy. I am looking at their lineups and their players.
yeah, so the top player was Alan Trammell.
I have a bunch of his baseball cards.
Yeah,
That was one of
they
the go-tos for tops back when I was collecting cards when I was a child.
Sparky Anderson was
Kirk
the manager.
Gibson. Kirk Gibson.
General manager was Bill LaJoie. This was just this was a bunch of guys who came together and just played. But you look at the starting lineup, nobody played 162 games. That was part of it too.
They had a 19-game winner, an 18-game winner, and a 17-game winner.
That's pretty great.
But the lowest earned run average among them was 324. They were all higher than that.
How do you not have a guy hit over 100 RBIs and win 104 games?
Howard Johnson.
Howard Johnson was
The
in
guy,
that.
Lance Parrish was their leadoff guy. He was the catcher.
I can't believe I know Lance.
No, he
Parrish.
wasn't their leadoff, but he was a catcher. He had
Because
98
Putting a
RBIs.
catcher as leadoff, that's how you don't score 100 runs.
He drove in 98 runs that year.
That's a great year for a catcher today.
He had Barbaro Garby off the bench with 52 RBIs.
So he platooned it. He played a lot of players. He did it.
It looks like he had to. I don't know if it was injuries or matchups or what he did.
Those are pretty nutty stats. I don't think you'll never see that again.
Never say never.
You'll
Never
win
say
100.
never.
No, not with the offensive juice today.
No, everyone 100. Ricky Henderson is very sad about these stats. How do you not have? How many stolen bases does this team have in 1984?
Not many.
The highest. Kirk Gibson led the team with 29.
Stop it.
Kirk Gibson.
This team makes no sense. What, did they distract him?
This is how good Sparky Anderson was. The team had 106 stolen bases.
29 for Kurt. What did the
Let's
mascot
take
distract him?
That's how we can close our discussion. Tip of the hat to the 84 Tigers.
That's it.
So for those of you that are worried about not being in the top 10 in offenses, you shouldn't worry. Go win the World Series without your top 10 offense. That's what you need to do.
Get yourself a Chet Lemon to play center field.
That's all you need. And that's all you have for SwingBadder. These are the experts. I'm just a host with an opinion. Dad, thank you for joining. Todd, as always,
a pleasure.
I'm looking forward to a wonderful season where we have the Diamondbacks and the Mets, and I believe we are going to be picking our teams, our winning teams, the playoff contenders, and the teams that have officially been eliminated coming up in a show near to you. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
Night.
Bye.